So the one pack that really stands out is the paint pack, and that's largely because of an overnight decline in crude prices that we've seen. So if you pull up the charts of Asian Paints, Berger, Kansai Nerolac, Indigo Paints, all of them have been buzzing. So let's put the spotlight on the paint sector itself in this value plus segment. What is it that is working for the paint companies? The first thing that's working for them is that demand is picking up. If you look at the commentary of all these companies post their first quarter numbers, they've expected double-digit volume growth in FY25, a mild narrowing of the gap between volume and value growth as well. Volumes would be aided by a rural uptick, and more importantly, all these companies have already taken a 1 to 2% sort of paint price hike, and despite that, crude oil and other raw material costs are near one-year low. In crude's case, it's below what we've seen since December 2021 as well. So raw material prices are fairly benign. The second factor is competition. So on the competition coming in from Birla Opus so far, all these companies in their conference call have perhaps sized up the competition or think it's not as intense as the street was fearing. So Asian Paints has said that new launch seems to have underperformed expectations with regards to Birla Opus. Berger Paints too said that initial enthusiasm of the new entrant appears to be fading away, including among dealers, and that's an important parameter to watch out for the paint companies. Kansai Nerolac says that they now have higher confidence versus what it was 6 months ago in their ability to compete with newer entrants, so that works for them. And Indigo Paints too, here on CNBC-TV18 itself, said that they've observed no changes in the competitive landscape or even pricing pressure. So with demand looking good and raw material prices coming down ahead of the festive season, no major concerns with regards to competition. The street is perhaps betting on the paint space itself. From a valuation standpoint as well, because of the recent underperformance, they are trading at 54 times for Asian Paints as against historic valuations of over 60 times. Berger Paints itself is trading at around 49 times, and Indigo Paints at around 38 times as well. From here on, the things to track will now be, one, how Birla Opus actually performs in the festive season, because for paints, festive season is extremely important. So irrespective of how the competition has scaled up so far, their performance in the festive season is something that will be the true test of how competition has panned out. Secondly, the overall festive demand by itself and the raw material price environment. Even though we've seen some decline in crude prices and they are benign, whether they sustain at these levels, is there any more volatility here or not, is something that we'll be tracking very closely.
Okay, all right, Mangalam, thanks very much for that. So that the entire paint space is buzzing today also because of that benefit for crude prices, which are currently at around $68, $69 per barrel. So it would be a positive on an operating front for them. But let's move on.